Please welcome back to the stage, Eric Kraft.
Thanks very much. We got one more keynote for you here at Enterprise Connect 2017. And again, want to remind you about this afternoon's programming. Of course, more breakout sessions in the afternoon. And then at 4:15 out on the lawn, we really hope you'll join us. We think it'll be kind of a cool way to do a session outside in the beautiful Florida weather. It looks like we're going to have a good afternoon, knock on wood. And an interesting topic on AI and analytics and contextual and a lot of this new technology that we're finding really is getting a lot of interest here at the show. But for our last keynote, we're very excited to have Google on the stage. We have had Google up here before, but I think you're going to find that this year, just a few weeks back, if any of you saw any of the news out of Google's own conference, that there's been some very significant moves into this space, creating some products or upgrading some products that really show some moves by Google in our industry that could be very interesting for their competitors as well as potentially for your enterprise. So our speaker is the Director of Real-Time Communications for G Suite. It's my pleasure to introduce Scott Johnston. Thanks, Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Johnston.
I'm Marielle Furlong.
And we're here to tell you about some major updates we've made to communications apps in G Suite. I realize that we're the only thing between you and cocktail hour at 11:30, so we will be very quick. Let me just start by talking a little bit about the history of G Suite and where G Suite has come in terms of our journey. Now, for over 10 years, we've been dedicated to elevating productive work. We began with apps born in the cloud, so Google Docs, with collaborative editing, and really changing the way you worked with teams, opening up new communications and new channels for ideas to flow. Today, three of our apps are on over 1 billion smartphones, and we've passed 3 million paying businesses in G Suite.
So as you can see, clearly, we care a lot about productivity here at G Suite. But achieving this concept of productivity is actually a really hard thing to measure. There's a lot of different ways and tools to assess how you're doing in terms of productivity, but it's hard to actually tell what they mean. For example, you might have heard that statistic that even just one notification can disrupt your productive state of flow and take you out of it for as much as 20 or 30 minutes. Now, that is a long time to be out of that really productive high state of throughput in your mind. And it's a powerful statistic, but it doesn't really help you understand if the ROI that you're spending is really giving you a good return on your productivity tools. So it's hard to understand, with all the tools out there, how do you know if they really help?
And this is where we see Google as having a unique vantage point. We spend a lot of time studying teams, and out of those studies, both internally and externally, we think we've surfaced some rich insights. You might have seen New York Times reporting on a project we call Aristotle. This started in 2012, and it studied internal teams over the course of many years, how they work, where things worked, where things didn't. And this is something we've done consistently with both internal teams and our customers at G Suite. And one of the most interesting things that won't be surprising to you guys is really just how much our work is spent really just moving pieces around on a board. So while ideas are what move the needle, instead, what's happening is we're spending a disproportionate amount of time learning and manipulating tools that are really rather mundane. These are mundane tasks. And let me walk through an example of that I think we're all familiar with. It probably resonates. Try to schedule a meeting, 5 to 10 people, add a couple time zones, find a meeting room, try to attach the right files, and then inevitably someone's schedule changes. These are we go through this every day. Everything comes back to square one. And so these are just a few examples, right? Email management, formatting documents, finding files. The bottom line is really work shouldn't be about moving pieces around on a board. It really should be about the ideas and the innovations that you're moving forward with your team. And so this gets even more complex when we add multiple players with teamwork.
Absolutely. So let's think about teamwork in particular. For those of you in the audience, think about your day-to-day work. Raise your hand if your success at work is wholly dependent on you alone. Okay, we might have a hand in the back or two, but it seems like the vast majority of us are really dependent on the power of our teams. We need to be cohesive, we need to be aligned, but each of us are coming from different places. And hopefully the teams that you're working with are wonderful, unique people, but we all have different frames of reference. And we have unique skill sets. And as we try to play each of our individual parts towards our common goal, there's just a lot of coordination to handle. That's why productivity is a team sport. It's so important for all of us to be coordinated. And let's think about what kind of work it takes to actually get work done in a team. So here on the screen we have a little bit of that board game that Scott was mentioning earlier. And this is taking a look at all of the different activities and action items you have to progress through a goal for a project. You can see meetings, you can see action items. You have to balance all of this with other projects. You're collaborating with cross-functional stakeholders. You're reviewing, you're refining, you're adjusting, and so on and so forth. I'm guessing that all of you in the room can probably relate to this, even if you've never visually mapped out the work that your team does. And the thing is, each one of these steps has associated overhead with it.
To merely set up a meeting takes hours, let alone check-ins, sub-meetings. And then my favorite is when you have the meeting to prepare for the meeting. And then there's the post-mortem about how the meeting went and whether it was effective. And then once you're done, you have to capture all of this in one place and the action items, and you got to follow up. And then all of a sudden you realize someone didn't write it down, and all of that work is lost. And it takes hours to merge if it's done at all. And so really, this has a negative ripple effect on teams. Overhead gets in the way of one or more tasks. It's one thing to impact one user, but then you're impacting the entire team. Teams are blocked. The impact multiplies. And really, you getting everybody context switching at that point. So with what Mario was saying earlier around breaking flow, we're doing that at a team scale now. And that's having a huge impact that I'm sure none of you can relate to.
So reducing overhead can really help us move closer to that sense of ideal team state. But to do that, you really have to understand how people work together. If you can start doing that, you can start mapping out the future for your teams without the team having to do anything. In fact, you can understand biggest dependencies, and you can adjust on the fly. And this is the core idea that we want to get across to you today, that we as technologists, our goal should be to help you get your goals as a team done as efficiently as possible. And we want to allow you to focus on your task and not the overhead and the clutter of the process behind each of these steps. When you do that, it has an impact on not just the individual, but on the team and the organization at large.
Now, enterprise communication has unique needs. We think there's a huge opportunity here to advance the plot of really changing how teams communicate together. Our products are designed really to bring teams together, to help remote teams connect, make brainstorming more fluid, really keep ideas flowing even after you've left the meeting itself. And we at G Suite have put our best teams on this problem. We think they're up to the challenge. We're excited to share with you the solutions that we announced a couple weeks ago and more. We practice what we preach. So our teams at G Suite are located around the world, from Waterloo to Kirkland, Zurich, and Stockholm. And we feel it's important to bring a diverse perspective to developing products, so we bake in a worldwide perspective. I was just on a call this morning with our Stockholm office, who was a critical part of these releases.
So to illustrate this, we're going to take you through a fictional company called Cloudy Coffee. Cloudy Coffee is a company that's getting ready to launch a campaign for a bean with 100x the caffeine of a normal coffee bean. How many of us in this room would have loved a boost like that this morning? I know I would. So Cloudy Coffee is going to show you how they're doing this brainstorm using our new Hangouts chat, an intelligent messaging app for teams. We're going to show you in this demonstration how we've rebuilt Hangouts with a focus on making teams more productive. And Cloudy already relies on Hangouts for direct messages, but now they can also use rooms, a central place for project and team discussions. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the demo, and I'm going to wake up my computer, and we'll go ahead and get started.
So rooms were really at the core of the new Hangouts experience. And this allows a team to pull together their content, their conversations, whether it's something as short as a quick, an outage or something like that, or a long-lived project over many years. Rooms centralize that conversation. What you'll notice, and Mariel just brought up a room in the new Hangouts chat, is as you'd expect, these real-time conversations are threaded. And that's critical so that I can pull apart the lunch conversation from other work, and the team can drill into details on specific conversations without interrupting others. Mariel, let's look at a bit more of this room.
So you can see here, like Scott said, this team was chatting about if they want pizza or sushi for lunch. But if we scroll down, we can see a brochure that the team is putting together or that their vendor put together about this campaign.
And what this is a brochure in Google Docs. Google Docs and Drive are deeply integrated into Hangouts rooms, and this means you don't have to think about permissions. The room manages it for you. People who have access to the room also have access to work with all the files in the room. Now, another key part is once you have a central place to discuss is, of course, search, so you can get back to earlier conversations. So we've built search directly in the Hangouts UI. This is from free text search to filtering by people or file type.
And what's really great about this is, for example, I can click on slides and easily see a file that Patrick shared with our team recently. And I can even get a preview by clicking on it, or I could go ahead and open slides directly from here.
OK, so let's actually jump over. That was the branding team room. Let's jump over to the launch coordination room. Now, teams, as you know, work with a myriad of tools today. And so we created the Hangouts platform that allows deep third-party integration into team rooms. The platform supports a wide range of capabilities. At one side, lightweight scripting using our cloud scripting tool, Google Apps Script. This allows you to automate team workflows. For example, you could easily push messages into your team room based on changes in a spreadsheet with a few lines of script, no machines needed, all in the cloud. And everything from this lightweight scripting to actually intelligent bots. And so let's look at an example of this. Cloudy Coffee uses Asana, a work tracking tool that helps you teams understand who's doing what's happening when. And so Asana has written a bot on the Hangouts platform. And so right from within Hangouts, we can assign tasks to other team members.
So for example, you can see I just have to easily say at Asana, add brand review, and I'm going to assign that to my teammate Mike. And there it is.
And so not just Asana, but if we can jump back to the slides quickly, we've partnered with a number of different companies across different verticals to build out intelligent bots embedded in Hangouts, from Zendesk and Zenefits to Smartsheets and ProsperWorks. Let's go back to the demo here. So it wasn't just about integrating third parties, but we're also using the Hangouts platform to integrate our own intelligent bots. Hangouts chat itself comes with a bot called Meet. Meet automatically schedules meetings for your team using natural language processing and machine learning.
So for example, I can go ahead and say, at Meet, find us a time tomorrow.
So now what's happening here is Meet is going out, it's looking at everybody's calendar in the room, and it's using things it's learned, it's using machine learning to learn your preferences for how you like to schedule things, when you start and end your day, and other things around how you move around calendar events. It's booking something automatically in Google Calendar and presenting that to the room.
And so if I wanted to change that, it's easy to do as well. And like Scott said, it uses natural language, which is even better. So I have it scheduled for tomorrow, but if I decided that I wanted to change it to a different time, I could say, at Meet, move to today.
So what you're seeing here is that with a few natural language commands, so simple commands, we can do something that used to take a number of different steps. And so actually, but we want to demo Hangouts Meet, so why don't we actually not schedule this later, but let's meet now.
Great idea.
So Muriel's scheduling a meeting now for everybody in the room. Before we jump into this meeting, I want to talk about meeting technology today. It's 2017, we're dodging driverless cars, we're landing rockets on rafts in the ocean, and somehow it's still hard to get to a meeting, and it drives me bonkers. Like, why? How is that the problem now? We've talked about how much overhead is introduced by some of these productivity tools, and we're just spending way too much time going to meetings and getting to meetings and not enough time on the real work in the meeting. And this is what we obsessed about working on the new Hangouts meeting experience, was how do we remove all elements of friction of going to a meeting. And so there's a number of areas where we see friction. I think the first is technology. So Hangouts Meet doesn't require any plugins, whether you're presenting or just joining. One click, and you're in the meeting. We dramatically reduced the code size of Hangouts Meet from the previous version so that it loads instantly. We also spent a ton of time optimizing the video and audio quality, so regardless of your connection, you're getting the best quality available over that line. And so I think that's just core to the technology of getting into a meeting. Muriel, I'm done with my rant, sorry.
OK, good, because we have a team waiting. So let's go ahead and join this meeting. So once this loads, you're going to get a chance to see what it looks like from my perspective.
It's inevitable that once you say it loads instantly, it won't in the demo.
There we go. So one thing that's cool that you're seeing here is the green room. So this gives me a chance before I decide to join, if I want to put myself on mute, if I want to hide my camera, if I want to go ahead and present directly to the meeting. But in this case, I want to go ahead and just click join. And we can see we've got our team here. So hey guys, welcome to Enterprise Connect.
Hi.
Can we get a little love for our team in this room? There we go.
So what we're seeing here is the new Hangouts Meet. It's our enterprise solution for face-to-face meetings. Sure, it loads fast most of the time, but what other use cases besides the technology are causing all the friction? For example, what about joining without an account? What you'll see here is Wilson is joining. He's a consultant that's helping Cloudy Coffee. And why don't you go ahead and accept his knock, without any credentials, signing up for anything, and remember, he also didn't have to load any plugins, he's in the meeting. And so this was a huge area of friction for our users, is how do I deal with the setup and the account and authentication and codes. And so we got through that, very simple to get people in. Looks like also Ajay has joined from his phone. Hangouts Meet includes a dial-in with every meeting, so you can join whether you have a data connection or not and participate in the meeting. Again, just trying to get that friction out of the way. And I think Hangouts Meet comes with a ton of new features, much larger meeting sizes, automatic recording to Drive if enabled. But what I really want to focus on and really, really emphasize is how much time we've spent, and then how much time we're going to continue spending on just trying to smooth that friction between you and getting work done. So now we're in a meeting. Let's get some work done. And what we need to really effectively work together here is the virtues of a whiteboard, something fast, simple, free-form. But we need it in the cloud so everybody can see it, everybody can participate. I think we've all been in situations where we're having a remote meeting and you want to go to the whiteboard, but you realize nobody could see that. Now the team has been brainstorming some Cloudy Coffee ad campaign ideas on a Jamboard, which is our new entrance into the conference room whiteboard space. And so now with one tap, we can actually present the whiteboard. And this is Jamboard. So let's put a camera actually on the Jamboard in the room so we can see how this works. We couldn't fit the Jamboard in our suitcase. Hi, Aishwarya. So Aishwarya's working on the Jamboard here. And what you're seeing is she's not just working alone, but she's working together with the whole team. It's one tap to present that to the meeting. And really, with the Jamboard, you just pick up the stylus, and you start thinking, creating, communicating with your team. And another thing is that the stylus in Jamboard is passive. If you're like me and you've lost 50 Apple pencils, that's a big deal because I'm walking out of the room with these things constantly. No charging, no docks. Won't cost an arm or a leg. We need to replace it. You just can do whatever you want with it. Most importantly, the Jamboard still knows the difference between the stylus and your finger, so you can draw with the stylus and then naturally erase with your finger. So while Aishwarya is working here, the whole team is collaborating. The Jamboard app itself lets your team collaborate anywhere, whether they have a Jamboard or just a device. So any iOS or Android device, you can be working on the Jamboard all together in a single jam. You can virtually stand it up anywhere. It's really organized around getting teamwork done.
Yeah, and it's that magical collaboration experience that you've probably experienced in Docs, but now taken to the digital whiteboard space. And those are just some of the highlights of Jamboard. We have a video that we'd actually like to show you to demonstrate a few more of these features and show you how they all knit together into one great user experience. So let's go ahead and roll the video.
This is Jamboard. It's like a whiteboard, except it's way better. Because it lets this team and this team work together. With this guy who lives in France.
Bonjour.
On the same thing at the same time.
C'est fou.
This is how you write and erase. But you can also do this and add some of these. And even turn this into this. And it's got all this other stuff. So it's really easy to do this. Unless you're no Michelangelo, in which case you can do this. That's because it's part of G Suite, so you can pull in anything from any of these.
Hey guys, I had this room reserved.
And this is how you save your work.
It saves automatically.
Oh, right, it's in the cloud. This is how you pick up where you left off. This is how you share your work.
Got it.
So you never have to do this, or write this. So you can do more of this. This is Jamboard, a new way to collaborate from Google.
So that was just a brief overview of the fully rebuilt Hangouts, Chat, Meet, and our new Jamboard, our whiteboard in the cloud, built with the enterprise power, security intelligence that you'd expect from G Suite, designed to bring teams together. And of course, works seamlessly with G Suite and other tools. Hangouts Meet is fully integrated and fully compatible with our existing meeting room solutions, so that no changes need to occur there for you to adopt it. I think overall, what we're focused on is removing that friction, so teams spend less time wrestling with technology and more time on productive work. Hangouts Meet is generally available right now. Jamboard will begin accepting orders in May, and Hangouts Chat is in our early adopter program. We're just getting started with teams. Excited to have you try these out. Excited to hear your feedback, and hope to speak with you more soon. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Scott. Thanks, Muriel. Thanks, Scott. So, I think what we've seen out of 2 days of keynotes here is that we got a bit of a new cast of characters, or an expanded cast of characters, who are looking at enterprise communication as something that's transitioning into maybe what we think of as enterprise collaboration, and something that's a lot more vital to the broader, if you want to call it, digital transformation, or just the way that technology within the enterprise just is starting to come together in a lot of different ways. And so, again, I want to encourage you this afternoon. We're going to do the summit out on the lawn where we'll see how some of these other capabilities like analytics can play into your collaboration story. The summit on the lawn at 4:15, then we'll have the appreciation party on the lawn at 6, and we really hope you can join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun. And of course, we'll still have a morning of sessions tomorrow on Thursday morning. Some great sessions then on IoT and on network management and our block note session, as well as a few more breakouts too. So please, the show floor is going to be open at 11:30 here, so please go join our sponsors and continue to check out the booths on the floor. Lunch is on the show floor at noon, so enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you outside on the lawn at 4:15.